Hello! Today I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important to have a real basic understanding of how to work on your car. Nothing complicated, literally just some nuts and bolts, and it could save you an absolute fortune. Now, I recently took a 2009 Volkswagen Tiguan to my local VW dealer to have an ABS module recoded. Now, while it was there, they did a complimentary health check to see if there was anything wrong or unsafe with the vehicle. And then they reported back to me in a video with a quote on email to let me know exactly what it would cost to get my car back in good working order and ready for its next MOT. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what they sent me. Now, they sent me this lovely little video and showed me everything that was wrong with my car. They also sent me a quote of what it would cost to repair it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through what it would actually cost me to repair with parts that are readily available on eBay, just literally getting them posted to my house. And to make it fair, I'm using good quality brand name parts, not just the absolute cheapest I could find. Believe me, that's made quite a difference in the cost of what it would cost me to fix. But how much cheaper than Volkswagen is it? How much extra labor have they put on top to justify these prices? Well, look, let's watch the video and let's find out.
Your complimentary vehicle health check below is color-coded. Red items require urgent attention because they're potentially dangerous, an MOT failure, or safety-related. Amber items are advisory and require future work. And green, past visual inspection. We'll be in touch shortly to discuss your health check. In a hurry, call our service team on the number provided. Alternatively, select the work to be carried out by ticking the include boxes in the last column, and then click on the approve button.
Okay, I don't think we'll be doing that.
Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm finishing work on your vehicle today. I'm carrying out an investigation into your ABS fault, park and brake fault. So we've started off our diagnosis with that. Obviously, your vehicle has been to a previous garage for its repairs and diagnosis. There is faults in the memory for the ABS control module being incorrectly coded. There is obviously a lot of other static faults in there relating to other control units and coding. A lot of adaptation test plans required as well. So it's not going to be a quick fix. We've carried out our first half an hour and coded the ABS control module as it was incorrect.
Okay, so let me just stop that there. So they've carried out their first half hour. When I booked it in, I'm sure the lady on the service reception told me that it was going to be the first hour was going to be £60, and then anything over that would be sort of chargeable. Now, that was their standard charge for diagnostics and coding. Apparently, that's what I thought I was told. Clearly, that wasn't the case. They've just spent half an hour, and I'm guessing the other half an hour was looking around the car to see what was wrong. So obviously, the car went in for the ABS fault because I changed the handbrake module and it needed to be recoded. Either the old module was faulty, so you couldn't sort of copy the code out of it into the new one, or it just needed dealer level equipment, because again, I took it to a specialist and they couldn't do it either. So look, it's at Volkswagen, it was the right place for it to go. They can clearly do the job because they have. It just cost a lot more than I was expecting. So just for that coding alone, I was hoping, naively so, it was going to cost me about £60. Turned out it cost me £250. But that was just for the coding of the ABS module to turn those disco lights out. But anyway, let's get back into the video.
You coded, but there is a further 6 additional adaptation test plans for the ABS control module and pump that require to be carried out in a specific order. So we'll need additional time to carry that out. Starting off with your health check on the underside of the vehicle. Both rear tyres are okay, around 5 to 6 mil. No signs of wear or punches. So that's okay on the rear left tyre. This is your rear right tyre. Currently you have
that's not good.
cuts on the inside side shoulder going down to your cords, which is an MOT fail, so we'll require a new tyre on rear right. Onto your suspension components, your rear shock absorbers. At the top you have a foam sort of insert called a bump stock, which is completely split. Although this should still perform correctly and do its job, I would advise replacing.
Okay, that's nothing really serious.
Sides. However, on this left side, you can see all of this oil has leaked out of the shock absorber quite badly, very badly. That is an MOT failure straight away. We'll require a new shock absorber to rear left. Your rear left coil spring.
Right, okay, so I'm going to stop it there. So that coil spring, again, where do I start? Obviously that coil spring's conveniently hanging down there. Maybe it was loose and on inspection it's come out, I don't know. I would have thought that would have fallen out whilst driving it, but still we can do that. The shock absorber, now that wasn't like that. It certainly wasn't like that a couple of days before I took it in. So Maybe I drove it a bit quickly down the track from the barn, so maybe I need to slow down, but maybe that's what caused the damage to the shock absorber, and maybe the spring as well. It's a 2009 Volkswagen with a snap coil spring. Do you know what? It's not the first time I've seen that. Volkswagen springs generally do tend to need replacing after that sort of 100,000 mile mark, after that sort of 10 years. So again, it's a 2009 car. I'm not overly surprised at what I'm seeing here. So let's carry on.
That is also dangerous and an MOT failure, so you require a new coil spring to rear left as well. Underside of the vehicle, there is a bit of panel damage on this side trim.
Okay, yeah. Could have been me.
It looks like your subframe has moved slightly as well.
The subframe, that looks like the console bushes he's touching.
And whilst we're here, these are your console bushes.
Yeah.
So on this left side, I would have put it as a red item anyway, as they're splitting on top corners. But then I've seen the right hand side, and this is a straight away MOT failure, excessive movement. The bush has actually come away from the rubber surround. The console bushes, this is again dangerous and an MOT failure. Front suspension components on your left side are okay. On the right side, this lower boot on the drop link.
A drop link, not the end of the world.
Basically starting to seize. So that again is an MOT failure. Will require a new drop link to front right. Your front tyres are down to 2.5 to 3 mil. So one's a red item and one's an advisory. The inside shoulder is bold.
Okay.
So I would advise replacing the two front tyres as well.
Alignment and a pair of new tyres. Not bad.
Brakes all around the vehicle are okay. Disc and pads on the front look new. On the rear, we just have some surface corrosion on the brake discs that I've advised. There is some service events outstanding going by your service book in the glove box. You will get a full copy of the health check if I've missed things. It was fairly involved, in depth. And that's it to report today. Thank you for choosing Vito Industries Swindon, and I'll advise we'll be in touch with you shortly. Cheers.
So all in all, not that bad, but again, that console bush, maybe it was literally just about to hang out when I drove through the gates at Volkswagen, because I always thought that car drove really nicely. It drove really nice and tight, no knocking, no banging. And then when I picked it up, you could tell that console bush was shot to pieces. You know, you put your foot on the brake and it felt like the whole lower arm and that wheel were continuing to move. So again, not the end of the world. It's pretty easy to change a console bush. So yeah, let's take a look at all of those things that Volkswagen said were wrong with it, and let's see how much they want to fix these issues. Now, before I go through with this, look, I don't want you to feel like I'm knocking Volkswagen. I absolutely love the brand, always have done. You've seen my barn, it's full of Mark II Golfs and other Volkswagen and Audi group vehicles.
We've got an A3, a Tiguan, a Transporter, load of Mark IIs, Golfs, Jettas, Mark IIIs.
Do you know what? I think you all know how absolutely obsessed with Volkswagens I am. So for me, it was such a great shame when I went into Volkswagen service department with a car that needed work, and I talked to the service guy. Now, I don't know if he was the service manager or just one of the service reception guys. And then he said, here's the this is £250. And then he said, well, that's £250 for the coding and adaptions. Now, there are some other serious issues with the vehicle that need addressing. Now, at that point, I'd already seen the quote, and my initial response was, calm down, it's £210 for console bushes. They're next to nothing to replace. And he just looked at me, and this was the thing that made me really angry, and probably the whole reason that I'm doing this video. He turned around and said, I see. Well, what you've got to understand is the majority of our customers don't know their way around underneath a car. And at that point, that made me so angry, because again, the type of person who goes to a main dealer is someone who doesn't know a huge amount about cars. And because of that, should they expect to pay massively inflated prices? And I can say that because I've looked through exactly what it's going to cost to fix this car, because I've already done it. The car's sorted. But I'll go through the difference in what Volkswagen wanted to charge me compared to me buying the parts off eBay, and then just looking at some of the labour times they've quoted as well. Because to be honest, I think it's outrageous. People who go to a main dealer need their car. It could be your mum, it could be, you know, a member of your family, it could be your dad, it could be anyone who doesn't know about cars and trusts that they're going to go to a main dealer to get the best service, but also to be treated fairly. Now, yeah, let's take a look and see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the pricing that Volkswagen sent me. So just having a look through here. First of all, we've got a side light bulb. £3.74 for a side light bulb. That doesn't seem too expensive, to be fair. If you go to Halfords, it's like £1.50 for a bulb. Then Halfords will charge you maybe £6 to change it. So do you know what? Actually, £3.74. If your car's there, it's being serviced and it needs a side light bulb, that's not a bad price. I mean, you can buy a pack of 10 501 bulbs off of eBay for about £3. So it's 30p for a bulb, and it's a 2-minute job if that's to change it. But still, look, £3.74 for a side light bulb, I think that's fair. Then we've got the wiper blades. So £61.52 for a set of 3 wiper blades. I personally don't think the front wipers are noisy, and I don't think they need replacing. But the rear, absolutely, that needs changing. But £61.52 for a set of wiper blades. Having a quick look on eBay, £30 delivered gets you a set of Bosch wiper blades for the front and the rear. So basically that's a saving of £31.52. How much labour are they charging to fit these wiper blades? So the driver's door check strap noisy, £25.60. A squirter WD-40, and that's been quiet as a mouse. Then we've got the alternator belt tensioner is starting to seize. So £77.57. So having a quick look on eBay, that's £27.82 for a tensioner and a new belt. So that's saving you £49.75 for what really is quite a simple job to change. So next up, obviously the brake pads were fine, that's good news. The rear discs are starting to corrode, recheck, again, crusty rear discs on an old Volkswagen, no surprise. Right, this is where it starts to get offensive. So £92.35 to change both rear bump stops. Now, 2 TU, I'm guessing, is that time units? So what is that, 2 hours they want to change a pair of bump stops? So £92.35. Now, having a look, you can get a set of bump stops for £22.80. So that's a saving of £69.
Nice.
£55. We've got the front drop link is split. So again, 0.6 TU. It's an MOT fail. It's also 2 bolts to change it. It's really not hard. Front drop link is going to cost you £12.70. So again, less than £13, and you can fix that, and they want £52 for it. Next up was the console bushes. The console bushes split. Offside bush has completely failed, £210. Now this was the one I really took offence to with the guy in the service department, because I thought that was outrageous. Because looking online, if you have a quick look on eBay, it's £25. I actually got these from Euro Car Parts on the way home because it needed to be done right there and then. It was kind of probably the worst thing on the car, because when you're driving, you touch the brake pedal and you could feel that front wheel rocking. It wasn't like that before I took it in, so I guess that bush must have failed on the point of driving into the Volkswagen dealer. But nevertheless, the car's a 2009. These rubbers perish, it needed changing. So again, £210 or £51.70 for a pair. So that's a saving of £158. Now they've got their 2.5 TU. Again, I don't know what that is, but it certainly can't be time units. Thinking about it, it took longer to jack the car up on a 2-poster ramp than it did to change those console bushes. It's literally 3 18mm bolts. The old one just slipped off. Squirt a WD-40 on the bush, tap it on with a mallet, and put the 3 18mm bolts back in. It's as easy as that. It literally took less than 5 minutes while the vehicle was in the air. So again, £210 for 5 minutes work with £50 worth of parts.
Now let's not take the piss here.
So we've got the shock absorber leaking badly. No disputing that needs replacing. I probably did that driving down the track a bit quicker than I should from the barn. these things happen, and again, it's a serviceable item, needs replacing. It's not a serious issue. It's just something that happens with cars when they get to a certain age or a certain mileage. So no big surprise. The big surprise for me was the price. So £109 to replace that shock absorber. Now, a replacement unit is £30 for a good quality branded shock with a warranty is £30. And they want 109. So that seems a bit much. You might think, well, labour wise, but look, we've now got the near side rear coil spring, also needs replacing at £127.98. Now, with that, again, it's £30.15 for a replacement if you only do one side. Now, obviously, you always want to do both sides, because if one side is gone, the other side's probably going to go. And also, if you've got one new and one old, it might affect the handling a little. But anyway, £127.98 plus £109.18 to replace the shock and the spring. Now, bearing in mind, they've already charged £92 for replacing a pair of bump stops. Now, so all that suspension's got to come out anyway, and then they're just going to bolt the new stuff back in. So again, I don't get how this costs so much. My mind is blown by it. It's crazy to think that something with, I can't even get my words out. I mean, seriously, you've taken it all out to replace the bump stop. You've taken it out to replace the shock absorber. The spring will fall out when you do it. If it was just replacing the spring in isolation and the whole booking it in, inspecting it, jacking it up on the ramp, the mechanic's time, I totally understand it. But the fact that it's all of these things together, that actually you have to go through the same process to remove one and all the other bits will come out, you're not really adding more labour on. So I can't get my head around how this is so expensive. So we've got some underbody panel damage, that plastic trim underneath. Yeah, I get that. And then the rest of the bits on here are sort of, the locking wheel nut key's missing. I know about that. £87.26 to, I'm assuming that's, why am I assuming that? I would be thinking, yes, what they'll do is they'll drill the old ones out and they'll replace it. No, they won't. They're Volkswagen. They know the locking wheel nut key code that came with this vehicle. So they will literally just replace the key for me at the cost of nearly £90. Now, I don't mind if I was to take it to a garage and get them to drill the wheel nuts out, the locking wheel nuts out, and then put a new set of lockers in that are probably going to cost maybe £20-30. I'm not going to begrudge the fact that Volkswagen have got the locking key for that car on file, So at £90, if you lose your locking wheel nut key, that doesn't seem too excessive. The other thing, changing your brake fluid, £17. Frankly, it's a crap job to do. So for nearly £18, I'll pay that. They can do that. Then we've got the cam belt is due. It isn't, and again, they mentioned in the video that they looked in the service book. So if they had, they would have seen that there is a receipt for a cam belt and water pump about 18 months ago, and the car's not done many miles since then. So again, you see that on this email from Volkswagen and you think £332, a cam belt is serious, I've got to get it done. But actually, you haven't. It was in the book pack. They must have. And when I challenged him on it, he said, oh, well, we'll only go by what's on the system. And as Volkswagen haven't replaced it, we would recommend replacing the cam belt ourselves. So make of that what you will. So when you look at it,
the total cost to repair those serviceable items on this Tiguan came in at £760.40. Now that's not including the cam belt or the locking wheel nut key, or in fact changing the brake fluid. But yeah, £760, when actually you can buy the parts on eBay, and I don't know if you were sitting there with a calculator adding it up, but for about £206. So the saving for doing those jobs yourself at home comes in at a massive £553.73. Now that is a huge saving on what is really some basic, simple car maintenance. Yeah, the type of stuff that isn't hard to do. You don't need special tools to do it. You don't need a ramp or a lift. You can do it with a trolley jack, some axle stands, and a basic socket set. The mind boggles. I really couldn't get over how expensive this was going to be if I got the main dealer to do it. Now that was never going to happen, and I don't want this video to look like I'm bashing my local Volkswagen dealer, because I'm not. I didn't want to make a video sort of calling them out, but I think the comment from the guy at the service department when he said, you see, the majority of our customers don't know their way around the underside of a vehicle. I thought that was massively disrespectful. For me, that was the red rag to a bull. That was totally unacceptable. And again, looking at this, I've used parts from eBay. So these aren't parts that I've got cheap with some discount code. These aren't parts that a sponsor sent me. You know, these are all things that you can buy online, get delivered to your house the next day or within a few days to be able to do these very same jobs on your driveway at home. Again, you know, looking at the labour costs, because that's all I can assume it must be. You know, how else do you justify £109 for a shock absorber and £127 for a coil spring on the same side? Again, the more I think about it, the more wound up I'm getting, because I just can't understand how they price this. I mean, they charge what, £120 an hour labour, but even still, that doesn't make sense, because it doesn't take this long to do these jobs. Changing the console bushes, 5 minutes and both sides were done. So again, I honestly don't know. But look, that's kind of my thoughts and my feelings around my most recent service experience with my local Volkswagen dealer. And it wasn't a good one. Yeah, let's be honest. I'm shocked at how expensive main dealer servicing and repairing has become. Now look, I'm a big fan of independent garages and mechanics. I've got a bunch of friends who run their own garages, and they are some of the hardest working, underpaid people you will ever meet. So look, I'm not bashing mechanics because they charge a bit for doing the labour. You know, they've got years of training and experience. They've got a massive toolkit that's cost them thousands to put together. They've got premises and overheads. I fully get that. But these guys aren't charging the premium that main dealers are charging. These guys, I'm pretty sure, I'd like to think, or certainly the mechanics I know, would be fair around pricing on shocks and springs on the same side of a vehicle. I just can't get over it. And the more I look at it, the more I'm winding myself up. So look, guys, with that in mind, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Are these prices reasonable? Am I being unfair? Am I just being cheap? So yeah, leave a comment. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.